Today we're going to be talking about 5 of the worst communities that I think you can buy in right now in Southwest Florida. Now this is just 5. I could easily come up with a list of 20 like that right off the top of my head. So we're just going to hit on 5 that I think are particularly bad. And I also want to mention these because some of them will start with like a lower price point and people go on the website that rhymes with pillow, you know, the one, and they think that it's going to be a great buy. And then when I dig into what the fees actually are in the community, they absolutely cannot believe how unaffordable the communities might be. Like I said, I'm going to give you 5, but I could easily list 20. And that is the reason that I offer consultation services. So if you're interested in kind of starting down the path of figuring out where you want to buy, where you don't want to buy, if you just want a second opinion, I literally hung up about an hour ago with somebody who was stuck between 3 condos. There were 3 that this couple really liked. They did a consultation with me. I'm not their agent, but they did a consultation with me. We dove into each condo. Took about an hour to go through them, and by the end of the consultation, they were very, very clear on which one they wanted and which 2 they absolutely did not. And it's funny to me because what we talked through, they told me that unfortunately and sadly, their agent had not even mentioned to them. So if you're thinking about Florida, I'll leave a link down below in the description box. We don't want you to make a bad decision because somebody just conveniently didn't tell you something. So I can consult all over Florida. Like I said, everything will be down in the description box. But today we're going to be talking about 5 that are pretty bad, and we're going to talk about why. All right, number 1, and if you have watched my channel for any length of time, this one, I know some of you are out there going, oh, I know which one you're gonna say. Bonita National in Bonita Springs. So, do I have something against Bonita National? Why do I always use Bonita National as an example? So why am I always picking on Bonita National? So first of all, I have sold a lot of property in Bonita National, whether it be a condo product or one of the single family homes. They have both in the community. So I know the community front, back, and sideways. I know what it offers. I know what it doesn't offer. So I do my best to stay in touch with my past clients, and I like to know how they feel about what they chose. Are they happy? Are there problems? Do they love it? It really helps me kind of stay in the inside lane of some of these communities. Well, because I have so many people in Bonita National, I hear all of it. And what I hear commonly, we're going to go over right now. So first off, let's start with the financials in Bonita National. So you can buy, opening price point would be what's called a golfing condo. So it's your typical 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo. Usually has a nice view of the golf course. They are nice little units. They have taken about $100,000 drop in price here recently in 2024. They went up really quickly and they came down really quickly. There are so many condos in Bonita National right now that you can rent. I mean, a lot of them. And what does that mean then? Well, that means that rental prices are going to come down because these are essentially the same unit, one right after another. So because of the way Bonita National is kind of sectioned out, you might have 30 condos that are all facing the same view. So it's really hard to differentiate when they're all 2-bedroom, 2-bath condos. So those open in the ballpark of around 300, around 350, right in that range, whereas before they were $100,000 less. There's actually still a lot of people trying to get it over $400,000 for these, what I find to be $250,000 condos. So we have pricing as an issue. The other issue is that the fees in the community, especially if you have golf, and if you don't have golf, you know, most people are there to golf. They run over $12,000 a year, all in. The numbers I'm going to give you on all these are all in. Over $12,000 a year. Now, if you're only coming to Florida January, February, March, how do you mitigate that in your mind? Like, how do you have so many layers of fees, so many layers. They also have a point system with their bundled golf to where the more you're golfing, the less you can golf. So in other words, they're trying to make it fair for everyone. So if you're trying to golf, let's just say 3 times a week during season, it's very possible you will not be able to do that. Also, they have a really nice pool. They have a pool area that's beautiful with like a little bar and grill, and it's all screened in, and a waterfall at the pool. Listen, it's standing room only in that pool. I don't even think you could swim most of the time, at least during season, 3 feet. You just couldn't. It is packed with people, and everybody is just kind of around the pool staring at each other. It just feels kind of awkward because it is so busy, especially during season. Now in the off season, you're going to do a lot better, but in the off season, maybe you're not even there, and that's something you need to think through. So right now, I would say that Bonita National is really not somewhere I would purchase. Number 2, also in Bonita Springs and not that far away from Bonita National, right down the road essentially from it, is Worthington. Now Worthington is also a golf course community, and their fees are coming in at a little over $16,000. $16,000 for their fees. Their pool is small. Their golf course, from what I hear of people that play there, they have the same problem. You cannot get on the golf course when you're there. So remember, in Florida, we have a season. And the way you can look at it, generally speaking, is that from about Thanksgiving to Easter, that is season. But season gets really crowded January, February, March. So when it's really cold where you live up north and you want to be in Florida and you want to use your condo and you want to golf and you want to enjoy it while your friends are up north shoveling ice and snow, sometimes you can't do the things you want to do because it's too crowded. So like I said, the pool is tiny. The amenities, in my opinion, are very so. They're kind of very meh. They're very okay. It's super crowded in the community. The buildings are older. Many of them need updates. And I just think for a whopping $16,000 plus, it's not worth it. Number 3, the Landings in Fort Myers. Now you might be familiar with that community because it's enormous. It's a big community. And as I always say when we talk about HOAs and these larger kind of multi-layered HOA communities where you have several fees, look at it as like one big umbrella, and then each segment of the umbrella might be another little community or village or whatever you want to call it within the community, and that causes layers of association fees and rules and regulations and applications. I have seen as many as 4 applications into one community. Now this community, the Landings, they also have multiple applications, which equals multiple fees. Now their fees are not as bad as the couple others that I just mentioned. They are a little over $10,000. Now I will say that they do have some nice amenities. One of the big draws to that community is that there is a marina in that community, and it's really pretty. The negative is there is like a 3-year waiting list. So I always check on that waiting list for my folks that like the community. They know the fees. They're going in with eyes wide open. I always check on the waiting list, and it gets longer and longer. So if you have that available to you, but you can't use it, then what good is that? They also have a golf course, and they have, a workout center and tennis. Their tennis program is pretty popular, but all of the buildings, in my opinion, are 95% of the buildings are really dated. Low ceilings, popcorn ceilings, weird sort of entryways where you go in and You feel like you're in a big sort of 1980s hotel that needs some work. It just does not feel like light, bright, open, new, $10,000 in community fees condominiums. Number 4 is Park Shore. Now, Park Shore is in the 34103 zip code. That's one of the $1 million zip codes. 34102, I would say, is number 1, and then 34103 is right up there with it. So people really like that downtown Naples zip code. And it is close to downtown Naples, and it is close to the beaches. It's also very, very dated in that community. Everything needs updating in that community. The pool is a postage stamp pool that, I mean, I don't know how you could get more than, if there was 25 people in that pool, it would feel like you were so crowded. There's not a ton of seating. All of the buildings are dated, could definitely use a facelift. The amenities are very ho-hum. Average at best, I would more so say below average. And the fees are over $12,000 a year. And you might say, why? How could they be? Well, it's close to the water. So the insurance on these buildings, this is a problem with condos. The insurance on these buildings are so high. So the bulk of the fee that you're paying is not to have this beautiful resort style amenities, but it's because the insurance to be that close to the water is very high. So you're getting less and you're paying more, and a lot of times it just doesn't feel like it's worth it. This is not a community, I don't think, where you would feel like you're in a resort style community like some of the other ones. Listen, before we're all negative and we go down that path, there are many bad ones out there. I'll just say bad because bad is subjective, but as many that are going to fall into this category of, I think, that are just not worth it, there are equally as many that are worth it, that are great buys. So if you're interested in those as well, please let me know in comments and I'll get to work on a video for you, because there definitely are a lot of communities where I always say, if you're in your car at 1 mile, be in your car at 4 miles and get better pricing, better amenities, something that's newer, insurance problems that aren't going to be there. You know, there's lots you can do to mitigate some of the problems that we're having in Southwest Florida right now, but a lot of people want to be right down there at ground zero. Well, if that's where you are, then you're going to pay higher fees and you're going to get a lot less. So Park Shore is one of those that I just think it offers location, but that's about it. All right, I'm going to give you one more. Beachwalk. You might think, oh, well, that sounds wonderful, Beachwalk. That sounds like exactly where I want to be. I want to be close to the beach. And you are close to the beach. This is right next to Naples Park. In fact, you're practically in Naples Park. You're so close to it. So you're close to Vanderbilt Beach. It's in North Naples. Great location in North Naples. Now, some of you may not agree with me on this. I am not a fan of Naples Park. Because I've been in the area so long, I know that Naples Park has flooding issues, a lot of flooding issues. And there's other problems. You know, Naples Park is not gated and you can drive straight through it, and then you're right where you can see the coastline, Vanderbilt Beach. You have a lot of people driving through there. As a result of that, you get some crime in there. That's just reality. There is essentially no HOA in there, no HOA rules. So what you get is a lot of people that are doing VRBO, Airbnb. You know, it's almost like a single family home hotel community, so to speak, although it's all single family homes. A lot of those single family homes are older. Some of them have been torn down, but you might have a property that's built out at $1.5 million next door to something that's a quad that's, 7-foot ceilings, popcorn ceilings, super old, flooded multiple times, sewer problems, and it's right next door to this property that's $1.5 million. So you've got a little bit of weirdness there. There are streets that are better than others. There's some crime in through there, petty crime, more serious crime. I'm not saying that Naples Park is a terrible area. I'm just saying there's areas that are definitely better. It's not gated, like I said. And there's a lot of gated communities in the Naples, Florida area for a reason. We'll just put it that way. And I'm not saying that Naples is high crime, because if you put it on the curve of the rest of the U.S., it certainly isn't. And even the rest of Florida, I would say that it's relatively safe. But listen, we tell it like it is on this channel. Some of the crime gets hidden. Some of the crime, it happened, and maybe somebody who knows somebody, and that there were 10 police cars at such and such house, and you never see it on the news. Sometimes they sweep that stuff under the rug because, it's a touristy area. But all that said, Beachwalk is right there next to it and have moved. They've said they don't feel 100% safe there. So that's not a good thing. Also, the amenities are really, I would absolutely say, below average on the amenities there for the whopping fee of over $14,000. Now again, why is it $14,000? It is the proximity to the beach. But you're not on the beach, but you're close enough that you can be affected by a hurricane, you can be affected by flooding, storm surge, wind, all those things. So in my opinion, the bulk of the fees are really essentially just your portion of what the overall insurance is for everyone else. The exterior, the roof, the windows, all of that. So to me, it is absolutely not worth it for $14,000. It is not even close. All right, so I hope I didn't make anybody mad. If you live there, I apologize. As I always say, if you live there, go down to comments. Let us know if we're wrong on this. And if there's anywhere I didn't think of or anywhere you'd like me to do a deep dive, let me know and I will get to work.